Before you grab the next toy off the shelf, or even click buy now online, you need to know the truth. Many of the toys being sold today are unsafe, poorly made, and could put your child at serious risk. Here's the question every parent needs to ask themselves. How many of the toys in your home are really safe, and how many are ticking time bombs waiting to cause harm? From toxic plastics that leach chemicals to so-called smart toys that secretly collect data, today we're going to break down the 5 toys you should avoid at all costs. Not only that, but we're also revealing 2 that are actually safe, fun, and cheap. Stick till the end until the very end, because those 2 safe toys might surprise you. They could save you from wasting money, or worse, risking your child's safety. Number 1. Labubu dolls. You've probably seen them online or even in toy, little Labubu collectible figurines. Bright colors, oversized eyes, marketed as cute, and often sold in mystery boxes that make kids feel like they're unwrapping treasure. They seem harmless when you first see them. Parents think it's just a toy with no moving parts and no batteries. How dangerous could it be? Little do they know, Labubu dolls are one of the most overpriced, cheaply produced scams in the toy market right now. Let's start with the price. These tiny figures can cost upwards of $15 to $25 a piece, sometimes even more if they're part of a special edition run. And what do you actually get for that money? A lump of plastic that's often poorly painted, fragile, and this is the worst part, made with materials that aren't always regulated to the same safety standards as major toy brands. Back in March, one mother in Texas shared photos of her daughter's brand new Labubu figure. Within hours of opening it, the paint started to chip. The child had tiny flecks of color stuck to her fingers. And when the mom Googled the brand, she was horrified to discover other parents warning about toxic paints used in similar toys. But the bigger danger is psychological. Parents have reported that the appearance of these dolls has affected their kids in a way they can't explain. Those bloated eyes and wide grins might seem goofy to adults, but to young children, they can be terrifying. One mom wrote online that her 6-year-old daughter refused to keep her Labubu on the shelf because she swore it was watching her while she slept. Another parent from New Jersey shared that her son had nightmares after collecting a few, saying that the toys talk to each other at night. While that might sound dramatic, kids process shapes and faces differently, and what's marketed as cute creepy to collectors can be downright frightening for a child's imagination. And that's not all. These toys are sold as blind boxes. Kids don't know which figure they'll get until they open it, which encourages them to keep begging for more. Before you know it, you've spent hundreds of dollars chasing a so-called rare collectible that has zero play value. The emotional trap works perfectly. Kids love the thrill of opening, and parents cave in. Meanwhile, the companies walk away with your money. There's no durability and no safety guarantee, just an endless cycle of disappointment and, in some cases, a child who doesn't even want the toy in their room. So, while they may look like fun little gifts for your children, Labubus are the definition of a regretful purchase. They're expensive, fragile, creepy, and far from safe. And if you thought these overpriced dolls were a bad deal, wait until you see the toy that displays itself as educational but could actually put your child's privacy at risk. Number 2. Smart toys and gadgets. The rise of smart toys has been huge in the last decade. Tablets for toddlers, interactive dolls that talk back, toy robots connected to apps. On paper, it sounds incredible. Parents hear words like STEM learning, educational technology, and future skills, and it feels like an investment in your child's brain. But the truth is far from it. Most smart toys are nothing more than cheaply made plastic shells stuffed with spyware-level electronics. Let's start with the elephant in the room. These smart toys are collecting your family's data. Yes, many smart toys are Wi-Fi or Bluetooth enabled, which means they're recording, transmitting, and sometimes even storing what your child says or does. In 2017, one popular talking doll was banned in Germany because moderators discovered it could be hacked and used to spy on families. Think about that. Something you bought to keep your kid entertained could be a window into your living room for strangers. Earlier this year, a mother noticed her 7-year-old daughter spending hours in her room whispering to her smart doll. When asked why, the girl said that the doll needed her help and that she felt bad leaving it alone. It was supposed to be a fun distraction, but it quickly turned into an emotional dependency. Though the family eventually got rid of the toy, it sadly wasn't before it had already affected the child's social behavior. And these smart toys aren't even as solid as they are marketed to be. They break down fast. Buttons stop working, screens glitch, and app compatibility disappears when the company stops updating the software. Suddenly, that $80 smart robot is just a dumb piece of plastic. Parents often share stories of toys overheating after being plugged in to charge, dolls repeating creepy, glitchy voices, or robots that simply stopped responding after a week. And of course, customer service is almost non-existent. Studies have shown that interactive screen-based toys don't improve creativity or problem-solving as much as traditional play. They often reduce attention spans and create dependency on flashing lights and instant feedback. So, while smart toys may look futuristic, the reality is far from it. They're expensive, invasive, and disappointing. Smart toys threaten your family's privacy, but what's worse are the ones that appear innocent but carry risks serious enough to send your kids straight to ER. But here's a question for the parents. Have you ever bought a toy that turned out to be a total regret? Drop it in the comments. Your story could save another parent from making the same mistake. Number 3, cheap plastic toys. Every parent has been there. You're at the checkout line, your child sees a colorful plastic toy, maybe a doll, maybe a car, maybe a knockoff action figure, and they beg. It's only a few bucks. So you just buy it. What you don't realize is that those cheap plastic toys are often the most dangerous ones in the entire store. First, let's talk about the materials. Many of these toys are made from low-grade plastics that can contain harmful chemicals like phthalates and BPA. These chemicals have been linked to developmental issues, hormone disruption, and more. And because they're so poorly made, these toys break easily. Take a cheap plastic truck, for example. The moment your child starts playing roughly, one of the tires pops off. Now you've got a choking hazard in one hand and a sharp-edged piece of broken plastic in the other, turning what should have been safe playtime into an ER visit bound to happen. These toys rarely last beyond a few play sessions. Wheels pop off cars, doll arms snap, and small decorative parts fall loose. Public safety groups have repeatedly flagged plastic knockoff toys for failing basic safety tests. In 2023, an independent report from the UK found that over 50% of cheap plastic toys purchased online contained illegal levels of dangerous chemicals. One father shared a story of his son playing with a dollar store toy truck. Within minutes, one of its parts snapped off and became lodged in the boy's throat. Thankfully, he survived, but not everyone is that lucky. Parents, it's not just about money, it's about safety. Those bright plastic bargains are often the worst offenders in your child's playroom. And if flimsy plastic feels dangerous, you haven't yet seen the toy that breeds violence. And shockingly, it's still sold like it's perfectly normal. Number 4, toy guns. Toy guns might look like a simple way for kids to play cops and robbers, but behind the flashing colors and popping sounds lies one of the most dangerous trends in children's toys today. Parents often buy them thinking they're just fun, cheap toys to keep kids entertained during holidays or festivals. But these so-called toys can, and often do, turn deadly. Take what happened in Texas last year. A 7-year-old boy was playing with friends on his rooftop. The toy was loaded with a small firecracker designed to pop loudly when fired. But this time, the firecracker exploded with unexpected force. The boy suffered critical injuries and was immediately rushed to the hospital, but tragically, he didn't survive. What was meant to be a fun game ended in a family's worst nightmare. This tragedy highlights a bigger issue. Many of these toy guns are cheaply manufactured, often with low-grade plastics and poor safety standards. Some are fitted with explosive firecrackers, BB pellets, or metal parts that can cause serious harm if misused or if they malfunction. A single spark, a small mistake, and suddenly your child's life is in danger. The fact that such toys are still widely sold should worry every parent. Community leaders have spoken out, calling the continued sale of these toys a criminal act. They argue, and rightly so, that toy weapons normalize violence at an early age, while also exposing children to physical danger. I mean, think for yourself. If a toy can injure a child badly enough to cause hospitalization, or worse, death, can we really keep calling it a toy? And it's not just physical harm. Studies have shown that children who regularly play with violent toys, like realistic guns, are more likely to display aggressive behavior. And when those toys also carry the risk of real explosions, the danger multiplies. Parents may think they're indulging harmless fun, but in reality, they're handing their kids a ticking time bomb. Toy guns aren't teaching kids teamwork or imagination. They're teaching them to aim, shoot, and, in some heartbreaking cases, pay the ultimate price. And strangely enough, the very next toy on our list couldn't be more different. It's colorful, it's squishy, and kids love the feel of it in their hands. Yet hidden inside, it are dangers most parents never expect. But before that, if this video helps you protect your kids from dangerous toys, hit the like button so more parents see this warning, and subscribe. We break down the truth about kids' toys every week. Number 5. Slime kits. Slime. For years, it's been the hottest trend among kids. It's stretchy, gooey, and fun to play with. On the surface, it feels like one of those creative toys that encourages imagination. But what most parents don't know is that many slime kits on the market hide chemicals that can be downright dangerous. On May 9, 2025, for example, a recall was initiated after toxic levels of diacetyl phthalate were detected in the Ultimate Surprise slime unboxing set. This chemical is often used as a plasticizer in industrial products and has no business being in something your child is touching and playing with for hours. The kit had been imported from China, and somewhere in the manufacturing process, hazardous substances found their way into the product. You, as a parent, know better. Kids don't just touch slime, they squeeze it, sniff it, and sometimes even put their fingers in their mouths after handling it. One mother in California reported that her 8-year-old daughter developed a skin rash that spread up her arms after an afternoon of playing with a store-bought slime kit. When they visited the doctor, she was told it was likely a chemical reaction caused by additives in the slime. Another parent in Florida shared how her son developed headaches and nausea after weeks of playing with a brand labeled as non-toxic. And while some brands advertise DIY-style fun, the problem is even worse there. The powdered additives and magic liquids included in these sets often contain borax or other irritants. These may seem harmless in small doses, but children are especially vulnerable. Skin contact, inhalation of fumes, or accidental ingestion can all create long-term problems that parents never see coming. These recalls and others like them show just how important thorough testing and oversight are in the world of children's products. Without strong regulation, unsafe items slip through the cracks and end up in homes where kids are the ones paying the price. So, the next time your child begs for a slime kit, don't even consider buying it. It's for your family's safety. It might look colorful and fun, but hidden inside could be chemicals that cause real harm. It's a perfect example of how a toy can appear harmless while putting your child's safety at risk. Sure, there are many toys that you should avoid at all costs, but not every toy is a scam or a danger. Some can actually help your child grow, and the very next one is the perfect example. Number 6. Building blocks. One of the best investments you can make for your child's playroom is building blocks. Whether it's classic wooden sets, magnetic tiles, or the ever-popular interlocking bricks like Lego, block play is one of the few toys that has stood the test of time, and for good reason. Unlike many toys that come and go with trends, building blocks consistently prove their value in child development. They boost your child's creativity, spatial awareness, and even early STEM EM learning. What makes them so powerful is that they're run by imagination, not batteries. No artificial voices telling your child what to do, just open-ended play that grows alongside your child. Think about it. A toddler might begin by stacking 2 or 3 blocks into a simple tower. A few years later, that same child could be building a miniature city with roads, houses, and bridges. Older kids push further, designing spaceships, castles, or even recreating famous landmarks. The toy doesn't age out, it evolves with them. And the research backs this up. A 2018 study from the University of Cambridge found that children who regularly engaged in block play scored higher in math problem-solving tasks later in school. Another study published in the journal Early Childhood Research Quarterly showed that preschoolers who played with blocks demonstrated stronger language skills because they naturally narrated their building process and collaborated with peers. In other words, blocks aren't just for playing, they're educational in ways that screens can't replicate. Teachers see the difference too. Back in December, one kindergarten teacher shared that her students who spent time with blocks showed stronger teamwork and longer attention spans compared to those who spent their free time on tablets. She explained that kids who were used to digital play often struggled with patience, while block-building kids learned persistence through trial and error, knocking things down and starting over until they succeeded. Safety is another huge factor. Reputable brands like Lego and Melissa and Doug invest heavily in testing, ensuring blocks are durable, made from non-toxic materials, and precisely shaped to minimize choking hazards. Compare that to cheap dollar store knockoffs, which often use poorly regulated plastics that can splinter, break, or even contain harmful chemicals. With blocks, you really do get what you pay for, and parents consistently say the same thing. Building blocks are the one toy their kids never seem to outgrow. In fact, many families pass them down to younger siblings, making them one of the rare toys that feels like an investment instead of a waste. And parents even find themselves joining in at times. So, if you're looking for a toy that justifies its price and is safe, educational, and endlessly entertaining, building blocks should be at the top of your list. But while building blocks may help kids construct entire worlds, our final toy is less about building and more about expressing, and it might surprise you, show you just how valuable it can be. Number 7. Musical instruments for kids. The second toy that's actually worth your money? Musical instruments. Not the cheap plastic keyboards that break in a week, but real child-friendly versions of drums, guitars, or keyboards made by trusted brands. Music toys do more than just make noise. They develop rhythm, coordination, and even early math skills. Studies show that children exposed to music from an early age perform better in language development and memory. It is brain training disguised as fun. You see, unlike screen-based gadgets, instruments demand focus and practice. Kids learn patience, self-expression, and even confidence when they master a simple tune. Yes, the sound might drive you a little crazy at first, but the long-term benefits are worth the initial struggle. Plus, there are plenty of options for headphones or volume control to keep the peace at home. Quality is the key here. A well-made child's keyboard or drum set can last years, becoming the foundation for a lifelong hobby or even career. Compare that to toys that break or become irrelevant in weeks, and the choice is clear. Musical instruments are proof that not every toy is dangerous or wasteful. With the right choice, playtime can actually help your child grow in ways that last a lifetime. Some toys take away more than they give, while others unlock a child's imagination in the best way. At the end of the day, toys should spark joy, not put kids at risk. Comment which toy you find the most unexpected. And if you bought any of these toys, thanks for watching before you buy. If you want to avoid dangerous kids' toys, hit subscribe. We're exposing the next kids product you should never buy in our next video. Stay safe, parents.